Hey, I got something to say. I'm just so sick of hearing everyone complain. I know it's tough and I know there's pain, but hitting bottom is the only way to change. So I'll keep hustling, you keep struggling. Bitch, I'm humbling, keep mumbling. I'll keep doubling, you keep bluffing. You've got nothing, I'll keep hustling. I've seen a lot of people who don't know what work is. I've seen a lot of people who don't know what thirst is. I've had a taste of evil and tried to cure the sickness, but I just keep my head down and focus on the facts. I'm setting down gravel while you just follow the path. I'll lead them into battle while you're just too scared to act. I'll leave the knife right in my back. So I'll keep hustling, you keep struggling. Bitch, I'm humbling, keep mumbling. I'll keep doubling, you keep bluffing. You've got nothing, I'll keep hustling.
Hey guys, what is up? What is up? Welcome to MK Headlines, episode number 69. How's everyone doing? We got furtheram, Tom Stakes. Next up, Drain is going to pop in a little bit. How you guys doing? We had a big day today so far, and it's not even over yet.
Yeah, it's been good. I'm really loving some of the signings we made. I missed a few shows with you guys, and but I'm back to chat some birds, and it's a good day because we're getting some news, and it was kind of slow yesterday, so some make up for some of those losses. So let's get it.
Yeah, AM, how you feeling, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Great day. The hour has changed. We've moved forward,
Yeah.
and now we can.
I'm still
look
recovering
forward to
from
this
that.
draft. I know, right? I think we all are. Monday was hard. Tuesdays
Monday,
is
I
getting
woke
a
up
little
like
better. I can't wait till
8:30. I had to
Friday.
go to work at 9:15. I was like, oh, great.
But wait, Mitch, what are we doing tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow. I still need to talk to you about that. But we're going to be live at 12 o'clock Eastern p.m. to go over all free agency. We're going to be live. It's me, Jeff, furtheram, Rob. It's going to be all of us. So,
Tom, you want to join? I think you're welcome, but you're more than welcome to join us. We're going to be all day looking at what's going on around the NFL, the moves, the free agencies. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds cool. If I can hop on, I'll try to hop on. Usually only able to like check Twitter and kind of post a couple things and get a couple jabs on here and there. But I had a slow day today, so you never know. Could be another slow one tomorrow and could have some time. But yeah, it sounds fun. I'm glad you guys are providing that kind of coverage, and it's going to be a good day.
And
so
Rob, put AM channel on there, please. Can you put his channel on the stream, please? Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what? Let's get right into it. The biggest one is James Bradberry is staying for 3 years, $38 million or $20 million guaranteed. How do you guys feel about that? I thought he was going to stay at first, and then I was like, no, he's gone, but he's here. He's staying. AM, start with you.
James Bradbury, I'm excited. Let's see. He's going to be turning 30 years old. He's getting $38 million. Um, what was the years on it again? Was
It was
it 3 years?
3 years, 38 mil.
Not 4. It was a 3-year deal, correct? 3 years,
3 years.
38 mil.
Oh yeah, and guys, really quick, please subscribe to Tom States. His link is in the description below. I see your shorts, bro. I see your shorts. There you go.
Yeah. I've been putting them out randomly here and there. It's cool to see. They get a lot more views than like your average video because of how they're working with it. But yeah, I'm gonna have to drop something on James Bradbury. Obviously, want to say here that it's one of those signings that you make because he likes the team that's growing here and he wanted to be a part of that. And he said that he took a discount. He said there were teams that offered him more money, but he really liked the city, the coaching staff, everybody on the team. He was very familiar with everybody in the organization. And that's why, being a Super Bowl contender matters. So that's a huge thing for the Eagles. And hopefully they can follow that up with a couple more big signings, mainly CJ Gardner-Johnson. But, we'll see.
That's what the main goal is, just to get Gardner-Johnson back. But with this signing right now, this shows me that Darius Slay might have to get traded. I don't want it to happen, but in order to get Gardner-Johnson, he's gone, in my opinion.
I don't think so. I don't think that's true at all. But
oh wow, okay.
We'll see what happens. But no, I don't think so. I don't think Darius Slay's going anywhere.
That would be awesome. I hope not either.
How to restructure his contract, but you never know. Really, honestly, you could be right. We've seen crazier things happen. So if he can find a team that wants to pay him a little more than we do, then absolutely. I always want the best for a player, and that's it.
What, Tom, and I want Mitch side here. What if literally Mrs. Slay wants to stay in Philly that bad? She's like having fights right now with her husband, being like, I don't care what your agent saying. I want to stay in Philly.
Right. I don't think that's
hey, you never know. Miss Slay's got a big say, and she's very good looking. She's a very beautiful lady. I will have to say that. Miss Slay, you're watching, you're very beautiful. I have to give you respect. She is a lady. How you doing, Rob?
What up, Rob? What up, Randy?
What up, guys?
What's going on, guys?
I gotta say is if I was Darius Slay, I don't care if I'm a top dog NFL guy. I would be listening to Mrs. Slay. I'll be like, okay. Anyway, Rob, I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good.
You know how ladies are. They can leave you late. They can leave you late, but you better not be 5 minutes late. They be out the door. They not waiting for you.
What the fuck?
You ain't wrong, brother.
You ain't wrong, but how do you guys feel, Rob and Randy? How do you guys feel about Bradbury first?
What? Wait, what was that, Mitch? I'm sorry.
How do you feel about James Bradbury saying?
Honestly, I was actually one of those very rare to actually see him walk. But then again, the fact he took a pay cut to stay is surprising. That tells me one of two things. Number one, I think we're moving on from Slay, and number two, I think we're definitely drafting a corner at number 10. So there's a couple guys in the draft that I'm looking at. Is definitely Witherspoon or Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State. So
well, it depends. Slay may not get traded though.
But if Slay walks, so be it. The dude's 32. We can definitely have an upgrade over him. And the fact we're going to have Nakobe Dean and whoever else we can put at the linebacker position. I mean, look, we don't have that much to really work with. We don't have that really much to fix.
Yeah, I wouldn't fix it if it's not broken. I hear you on Slay's age and that, but this is not a team that's in a futures mode. This is a team that's in a win now, right? You don't bring back BG at 34 and Jason Kelsey at 34 to tell Slay that he's too old at 32, right? So I don't really understand why anyone would get rid of Darius Slay. He's a win now player. He's still an elite cornerback. Maybe he's not 28-year-old Darius Slay, but he's still way better than any of the rookies that you just named the draft. And even if they did draft a rookie, they really like redshirting those guys. You saw Jordan Davis play limited snaps last year. You saw Nakobe Dean sit for a whole year. You saw Cam Jurgens sit for a whole year. So I don't think this is going to impact who they draft, but I don't think they're just going to get rid of Darius Slay because he's 32 and because they signed another good corner. I think, you have offenses now in the league that spread you out and they score a lot. So you got to have guys to guard all those guys. And I think that they hope to keep Darius Slay. Now, if another team wants to pay him more and they get a little something for him, it's possible. But I wouldn't trade the guy just because he's 32 years old.
Or and there's a third option too. Or because we have 11 draft picks, and that includes compository picks. Jesus Christ. Fuck, English is a fucking hard language, but that's beside the point. But I think if we do say, like you say, if you don't pay Slay, why not trade for a bet someone to be an upgrade over Slay that's like a plug and play.
Yeah.
We have the capital to do so. So I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
I mean, you don't want to.
And that's what isn't Jarvis supposed to be playing alongside Jason Kelsey since he did come back? Because that was kind of like the big, I guess, talking point. I guess you could say.
Yeah, for sure. I think Cam Jurgens could definitely be a guy that they try out at right guard, and would be the front runner to win the job, in my opinion. So I mean, we'll see what happens, but he's young. He picked him high, and now Kelsey's coming back. So I guess you kind of have no choice, really, unless you want to burn a second round pick 2 years in a row by sitting him on the bench. So I'd hope he can step in with perfect timing with Sam.
Yeah, and then you can have Kelsey actually help him develop throughout the entire season.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
when the time comes, like Jurgens is all ready to be plug and play right in that center spot, and then you can whoever can have a right guard already taken care of going forward.
Right. Exactly.
So
Can we
Randy,
give I have also Tom Stakes right now. His link is in the chat. Make sure you guys go give a sub and a like over to Tom. Thank you, Tom.
he's close to 50. But who do I think we're moving away from? Moving away from Slay? I don't know. I think it's gonna happen, but who knows? Crazier things happen. But I think like Fletcher, Cox is gone. I think like all those guys are gonna be gone.
Like I would not be upset. It would sting a little bit, but I won't be upset if Fletcher Cox did leave. I mean,
I wouldn't be.
I think that's the reason. Because I think Jordan Davis is that kind of that successor to Fletcher Cox.
Yeah.
So either way, it's not really that big of a loss.
Mm-hmm. So
By the way, Rob, we have to give you a shout out and a thank you real quick for using your StreamYard. And by the way, I put your link also in the chat. If you guys can go over to Philly Sports Talk Podcast, because he's allowing us right now to use StreamYard because we have technical difficulties right now with hardcore sports. And Rob was kind enough to let us use his StreamYard. So thank you, Rob. We really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
And by the way, Randy, how do you feel about Bradbury and how you doing, bro? Randy? Okay, if he's not here, we're just going to go on Rashad Penny. Because honestly,
I think Randy might be having.
He's trying. I think he's trying.
I think he might have audio issues.
He's having audio issues.
That makes sense. So how do you guys feel about Rashad Penny? Because I'm mixed. I am really mixed about Rashad Penny here. 1 year deal. He is injury prone though. So
well, here he is. Give the Bradbury take next shift. We can hear you.
Go.
Yeah,
we can hear you.
We can hear you, Randy.
I was trying to. You guys up,
let's go.
But I didn't know I was connected, or wasn't connected. But yeah, to kind of just touch on so we can keep moving on. I kind of agree with Tom. I was kind of going back and forth with some people on Twitter about, like who we're probably going to keep and who we're not going to keep. But he kind of, took the blinders off in a sense when he kind of mentioned that, we're not going to re-sign a Kelsey and we're not going to bring back, these older veteran guys just for the sake to say, okay, Slay, you're 32 years old. There's the door. So he, you know what? I'm really starting to wonder maybe that there's a possibility he could return. So I'm happy, let the dynamic duo come back again and try to put up all pro type numbers again. Yeah. As for the Rashad Penny talk,
I know you're mixed about it.
Okay, yeah, I'm a little mixed just because of his injury past. I mean, he's only played 28 out of the possible 66 games that he's.
I thought it was 18.
I think it was 48 out of the possible 82 from what I saw.
I thought it was 18.
He's been in the league for 5 years and only has 13 touchdowns. That's my concern. Last year, he only had 2 TDs total. The year before that, he had 6. And the year before that, he had 0 touchdowns. And that's probably one of the injury years. So I agree with next shift. This and Mitch, this is an injury concern. And also, what are we going to average here? We're just only going to get 2 TDs out of them the whole total season.
I mean, two,
I
three
don't
at
know.
max.
I'm worried about it. Yes.
I said, I think I said this too on Twitter too, and like I see if he does work out, like Howie has done knows to work his match and flip bad things into draft compensation. So somebody will be dumb enough to take to at least take on Rashad Penny. So anything can happen with
And I was wrong,
with
Robert. You're right. It was 42. Sorry, it was
40.
42.
I thought it was 18.
I mean, either way, it's hit or miss sometimes with him. So no matter what number it is, it's still hit and miss.
I mean, hey,
But the
this
fact
shows
that
me that my
let's look at this.
on.
But then again, though, like I don't know, like because my gut feeling is like I think they're going to find a way, some way to, I guess, give him like a team friendly deal to come back. But I doubt that would happen
Who?
for Sanders.
Oh, he's gone. He already tweeted out like, "All love Philly from bottom of my heart."
Okay.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Let me think about it. So we
I don't know where he's going, but he's out. He wants the bag, so he's out.
And
I think
I don't know
Buffalo-
if anybody else has talked about this, but I seen Tom's comment. Any of the Eagles fans out there that think Austin Eckler's coming here, he's wanting a contract. I mean,
yeah, he wants a bag. I know that
yeah,
for a fact.
it's not working out that way.
And it's fun. And speaking of Austin Eckler too, like it's funny that he's only 27. It feels like he's been in the league a lot longer than what his age is showing him.
He's a hell of a back man. He can catch and run though.
So I want to say this too. I think my hot take of where Sanders is going to go. I think he goes to Houston. I think the Texans are going to find a way to bring in him as number 2 behind Damian Pierce.
I'm going Buffalo.
I think Buffalo's going to draft one. I think Buffalo, for me, sounds like they're going to draft a running back. That's just me.
Win now mode, aren't they? So
They're always in win now, but for some reason,
I know.
their
Why do
running
you
backs.
think I picked them to win every year? But
Then again,
I don't know.
that's
but,
just me.
hey, I don't know. How do you feel about Rashad Penny, Tom?
He's a low risk, high reward kind of signing. You're not giving up a whole hell of a lot to get him. And he kind of reminds me of when we signed Kerryon Johnson a few years back when he got cut from Detroit. Guy that might not even make the team because he's just banged up, and you never really know how they're going to like him when he comes in. But they probably have a little bit of hope that he can be a guy that stays healthy and gives you a certain role, which is a big back that can run downhill, break tackles, and score around the in the red zone. And he broke his fibula last year, so he definitely didn't have a whole lot to show with Seattle, but he had a couple big games early in the season, and Sean Desai came from there. So could have been a little bit of a, hey, what do you think of this guy? Yeah, I'm familiar with him. He's all right. Let's see what he's got. So I don't think they're done adding to running back, to be honest with you.
No, me neither.
I don't think so, but I have a feeling that we might take a running back in the later rounds. And I feel like with this Bijan Robinson sometimes obsession is ridiculous. It's like
I don't think
I've seen that like all over the place.
I like
it's
him.
like
Great player. They're just
dude,
not.
I think he and this might ruffle some feathers. I think Bijan Robinson might be a second round pick if you're lucky.
Wait,
So wait,
Late-
I have a question now. We have Maddox, we have Bradbury signed.
mhm.
We possibly, like you said, Tom, might have Darius Slay. Do we go for a cornerback in the first round?
No.
Do we go like what is projected this whole offseason going into these mock drafts? It's now, I think, changed. And I don't think
actually, further, I want to touch upon that.
Have Brandon Graham. Go on.
I want to touch upon that. That's a very good point. Like, let's say hypothetically we bring Slate back if he does take a pay cut. So if he does take a pay cut, realistically, yeah, you could go with the corner. But I think if you really want to go up, I think go for a defensive tackle or get somebody to help out Josh Sweat on the outside. Or then again, you got Hassan Reddick, and I keep forgetting about that. Or you can go with an extra offensive lineman. So you can go in many different avenues. Except if you want to go with the corner later on, hey, but be my guest. So I mean, I think smart enough. I think go for the defensive tackle. Try to add more onto that front. Could be front 4 or front 7, depending on what John decides going to be running.
We'll go for an offensive line.
I would not be opposed to that.
I mean, always like offensive line each time.
Because it's like you cannot have too many offensive linemen. If one goes down, you got another guy to be plug and play. Slay did it is.
It's never the sexy pick, Mitch, but there's a reason this team's always, deep in the playoffs your whole life. So
Yeah, it's a consistency.
Yeah, it's not the prettiest pick, and it may not be the one that like flashes in the pan at home, but it's the pick that needs to be used for sure. Oh,
Well,
wow.
the Cowboys just re-signed Van Der Esch.
Yep. Cowboys got it, Van Der Esch, and there's a rumor, hey, to fit all the Slay stuff that you guys were just talking about, Darius Slay, Todd Archer just reported that the Eagles called the Cowboys about a trade for Darius Slay before they got Stephon Gilmore. So the whole thing about them asking Slay if he could find a trade partner that'll pay him is definitely true. Just depends on what Slay wants to do. I don't think the Eagles necessarily want him gone, but you never know what the player wants, and sometimes that's the difference.
Yeah, sometimes they either and that's a good point by Tom, because most of the time, like, we've seen players can either not take a pay cut and some actually leave their primary teams to go chase a bag elsewhere.
Yeah,
I think what you guys are trying to say is it's either what's good for the player or what's better for the team.
In that situation,
you have both sides. You have, look, we could get some really good draft picks and make up for Darius Slay in the future, or we can decide to keep Darius Slay and better for the team. Or you can look at it as Darius Slay's side and say this would be better off for Darius Slay than him staying in Philadelphia.
Right.
And we can move on and we can peacefully be agreement. Thank you, Darius Slay, for what you've done. We will never be at enemy with Darius Slay. Whatever he goes, watch Darius.
And further, how about this too? Or the fact that, or if he can stay, if he stays and he goes, if he can build up his trade. Well, I won't say trade value because that would just be kind of dumb. Just think of it because he got one more year left. But then again, though, like even with say if he does build up trade value, you can actually flip if you decide to flip it at the trade deadline. Like you said, that ties into one of your points and get decent compensation in for Slay and having what his value is at currently or going forward, I should say.
Oh, wait, hold on really quick. I got to bring up a comment here. Philly halftime thinks Miles Sanders is going to Kansas City.
I don't.
So whenever halftime is wrong, you got to put this up. Whenever he's wrong, you got to put this up.
Poor guy.
Because, I mean, it's because
he's not going to Chiefs.
Because I don't think Chiefs.
I don't.
If I'm not mistaken, Chiefs are more passive. If I'm not mistaken, too. They're such a pass-heavy team with an occasional run game. I can see him going to Buffalo. It could be an opportunity.
That's my first guess.
You got Buffalo, maybe Denver if you're lucky. Maybe that's a maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we'll see what goes on tomorrow.
What about
obviously? I know this is kind of irrelevant, Mitch, but I think the biggest news
the Cardinals even the Cardinals.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the Cardinals. Then again, though, what the hell are the Cardinals going to do? They resigned Beachum, who talked so much shit on Kyler Murray, and that was just kind of funny.
I heard a rumor we're getting Eckler from the Chargers.
We're not.
I doubt it.
I was
That's
one of those articles again that just sprouts up Eagles fans and get them all riled up to talk and flip out and then argue amongst each other. I don't think
that could be interesting. Because the Bears is an interesting team. Could have him and Khalil Herbert as the 1 and 2 out in Chicago, especially with all the moves that they made. Tremaine Edmonds. Even though TJ.
I like Montgomery. Montgomery's a really good running back too. I
think Montgomery's already on his way out of the building anyway, so I think they're going to find a replacement for him. So
they got Khalil Herbert. He's doing
Khalil Herbert. I bet
he's a savage.
That's what I'm saying. Because, like I say, if you're going to lose Montgomery, why not jump on the opportunity? Because you got a shit ton of money if you're the Bears and give Miles Sanders what he's asking for. Because I'm going to tell you, you're already paying. You got Tremaine Edmonds to help with your linebacking core. You got TJ Edwards, so you get your. Oh shit! I'm trying to think of who else the Bears get. I'm drawing a blank here.
The red rifle to the Panthers.
Oh,
wow!
Sucks to be Carolina, doesn't it?
They got Andy Dalton.
Yep.
So Boston Scott, 1 year, 2 years, 1 year, $2 million.
I think
I like it.
I like it.
That was given.
Because, I mean, the dude, let's be real. The dude he's the Giants' daddy, pretty much. Can we all just admit that?
Hey, it's a cool catch reference. I love it.
Daddy, chill.
God damn it, Randy. I knew you were gonna find
What
it.
happened? I just knew it. Oh my god! But hey, Jeff, sorry
What do
about
you all
that, but it's
think
true.
about Sean Desai? And I want to really hear about Tom and Rob
Okay.
here.
All right,
And
fine.
next shift, because we didn't get to hear about it. It was all me ranting the other day with Cool Cat Connor and us. Now, I want to hear what y'all's three opinion is about Sean Desai, our
Okay.
defensive coordinator.
All
And
right.
I want to start off with you, Tom, because I've been waiting to hear about this.
Honestly,
I
don't
have
know
a
much
lot of
about him.
negative things to say. So go ahead. You have the floor.
I honestly don't really know much about him. I know he had some success with Chicago and Seattle last year, but I honestly don't know a whole hell of a lot about him, if we're being honest. I'm glad they found their guy that they were comfortable with, and I guess the big thing in this free agency period and I'm looking for is what kind of players are we replacing the guys who left with, because it'll tell me a little bit more about what Desai values as a defensive coordinator. And so far, I'm glad we got James Bradbury back, but there's some work to do, and I just need to gather more info on him before I really have some sort of strong opinion. I hope somebody on the call on here, I know I missed the show, so I hope somebody has a little bit more in-depth, information or evaluation of Desai and what he is going to bring to the table, because I haven't really done much homework on him, if we're being honest.
Let me give you a little idea. He is a clone of Jonathan Gannon. It possibly worse. Last year with the Seattle Seahawks, he lost in Seattle against the Raiders in overtime to a 40-burger.
Yeah,
He
but
also
wasn't he
lost
not the
in
defensive coordinator
Seattle.
though? He was the assistant head.
Yeah.
He
No,
wasn't the defensive coordinator further.
with Seattle.
He was the
Seahawks, he
DC.
was.
No, he was the assistant head coach.
Yeah, he
No,
was
and also defensive coordinator with Seattle Seahawks. Yes, he
All right,
was.
hold on. Whenever halftime is wrong.
Actually, I wanted to touch upon
We're
this
not talking
too.
about
'cause
Jonathan Gannon. We're talking about We're talking about Desai.
I know.
I think
I know.
I want to say this too. I remember at one point when Sean decided in 2021, the Bears defense didn't even have like the splashes in terms of the name talent, but I've seen where rankings where they actually finished like the top 4, top 5 in terms of defense in 2021. So a lot more times than not, people are sometimes like if he'll work with anything. And Grant, I mean, look, Seattle, yeah, you could make the argument, yeah, he didn't have the best talent to work around with, but still, like they still made
Tariq
the playoffs.
Woolen was tied for the league in interceptions.
It's interceptions, like I'm not saying just let it play out.
Hey,
The
look,
problem
we're
is Seattle
putting
had
talent around.
the problem that Seattle had was they didn't have defensive tackle
He didn't
muscle.
have talent.
They were
Like
getting burned up the middle because they didn't have enough beef up the
He
middle.
had no run
That was
defense.
the biggest issue.
Hold up.
The biggest issue was lack of talent.
I got answer for that. Week 1 against the Broncos. What did they do on the 1-yard line, and who did they stop? They stopped the Broncos on the 1-yard line 2 times in a row with a fumble.
Okay,
Y'all
that's
remember
week
that
one.
week 1.
What
You
about
all
all the
remember
other
that week
weeks?
1.
But week one can be said that everybody and anybody has a chance to win because nobody knows exactly what everybody's running.
Hold on now. I'm giving the man credit here. Y'all are acting like I'm dissing him here.
No,
That
you
week
kind of
one-
are.
No,
a
but
little
we know where
bit.
you're
I'm not
going.
gonna
No,
lie.
that
you're
week
going.
1
It's
performance is what I
50-50.
hope that he brings that red zone defense to the Eagles. We saw it against the Broncos. Seattle stopped the Broncos on the 1 yard 2 times in a row and allowed a fumble out of
Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
we
Russell
understand that
Wilson.
absolutely 100%. But what happened over time was teams eventually saw tape and then understood what exactly they could run against Seattle's defense and expose their defense. At that point in time in the first game, nobody knew what their defense
agree.
was going to be exposed by.
Look
So
how much
the
points
first
we
game
let
you
up
can't
against
really
the
judge that
Lions.
game. That
Look
game
how
was
many points we let up
filled with
against the
mistakes
Lions.
both ways.
All right,
Denver's
calm down.
both
Everyone
make
calm down.
mistakes.
Everyone calm down.
No,
So
I'm just
I agree.
Oh God.
I'm going to say Sean Desai definitely has the talent surrounded with him. He has no excuse.
We got Darren Waller. We got Darren Waller. We got Darren Waller.
What
We
up,
got Darren Waller. Let's
What,
go
Jeff?
Giants.
Yo,
Let's
he
go
hasn't done
Giants.
anything until like 2 or
0-3.
3 years ago, man.
I don't care. That's this past season. It's a new year now.
Yeah,
New
shit,
year.
Oh,
Fingers
three
crossed.
years.
I'll say this too. Fingers crossed that Darren Waller stays healthy.
We
didn't
actually
even get
have
400
a
yards
legit
last season.
weapon. We have a legit weapon
That's
on
one.
offense on the outside. I'll
That's
take
one.
one, Mitch. One. We actually have a player that can legit get 1,000 yards in a season.
Dude,
We haven't
3
seen
years
that.
ago.
We
All right,
haven't
all
seen
right,
that in
hold on,
4
hold on,
Three
hold on.
years.
seasons ago.
4
I want to
seasons.
hear
I haven't
something from
seen
Jeff.
that.
Jeff, how do you feel about Sean Desai? Because I want to hear yours because you're a Giants fan.
Sean Desai, I mean, he runs the same type of defense as Jonathan Gannon does, but I mean, I don't think he's that terrible of a defensive
I don't think he's
coordinator.
that bad. We just got to give him time. That's the thing.
I've never seen further dislike somebody as much as he really
Look,
dislikes
no, I
Jonathan
like
Desai.
He did
Me
2
like Doc
seasons in
Rivers.
By
a
the way, how
row,
you doing, Tom?
over 1,000 yards. Hey, how you doing, Jeff? He did 2 seasons in a
Damn,
row.
I
I'll
hate
give
your
him
Andy.
credit, over 1,000 yards, but that was 3 seasons ago, and he has barely been able to break 500 yards. Let's
I'll
see,
try.
and I do think I'm on the Giants side. I really think Waller is a big asset to the Giants. You guys
didn't
have
say it
Daniel
wasn't.
Jones with that big contract. It's now your franchise quarterback. You have Waller in the game now. I think you will be utilizing. And what did I say, Jeff, in the whole season this year? I said the Giants' key piece y'all are missing as a solid tight end, and it's been a decade. Y'all haven't had a solid tight end.
You're right.
I hope this is the answer. That's all I have to say.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I can't disagree with you.
And,
but
and
it's
yeah, and that's going to prove and further just prove my point as well. You know, you have to take into consideration like Waller, and from what I've been here, and jeez, I'm good personal friends with a lot of the Raider Nation. Most of them, they just cannot stand how injury prone that dude really is. But like you said, if
Right.
he stays healthy, that's an easy. He could be an easy 1,000-yard guy right there in your goddamn lap.
Yeah.
Well, it fits in
And
with
the
the
fact that
rest
you
of the
gave
New
him a
York
third-
Giants.
But
It fits in with
Daniel
everybody else on
Jones,
their
I think
team. They all
you're-
get hurt.
But
especially because you guys have a good coach now. It's not going to be like the Raiders coach.
yeah, he's in a better situation.
Yeah.
But and another thing is too, if let's just say, okay, so think of it this way: if Waller gets over 1,000 yards, that's a fucking steal for you for just giving him a third round pick to the Raiders.
I got a
which is
question
pissed-
for all you guys real quickly. Now that you locked up Bradbury, what do you think is your percentage chance that you guys are bringing back C.J. Gardner-Johnson? You think it's likely, or you think he still is going to be getting that bag and he's going to be departing this offseason?
Wait. I thought we did give him a contract. What did I read wrong here?
Not
don't think-
C.J.
I don't think-
Gardner-Johnson,
No,
Bradbury
yeah.
did.
Oh, darn, I misread some. I thought we just got.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, you
man,
misread something.
Disappointment.
Damn it,
Darn
Randy.
it.
But I
curious.
mean,
There was a
I-
rumor working in.
well, that's rumors for you. But I do think Gardner Johnson is going to be back in
Darn, I was
Eagles
all
green.
happy.
God dang it.
But
Kill me, Rob.
I'm curious to ask Tom. Tom, what do you think is your opinion of the new defensive coordinator that you guys acquired? Because I know what all these guys feel about him, but I'm curious to see how you feel about your new DC on with the Eagles.
Oh, I was saying earlier, yeah, I don't really know much about him, and honestly, if he runs something similar to Jonathan Gannon, I'm not exactly upset about that. I know that Jonathan Gannon had an issue with some of the adjustments he was making, but I mean, the defense was really good. They still have a lot of talent, so I think that they just found somebody that's got a system similar so that the guys coming back are familiar with it, and they played well last year. So really just comes down to making those adjustments in big games. So if he can pull that off, I think it's a toss-up with anyone. It's hard to stop like Pat Mahomes and those guys. So, I'm not really too familiar with him specifically, but I don't really I don't look too deep into coaches, what they did on other teams. They have new players, all that. So I'm just hoping for the best, but honestly, it comes down to making those adjustments and outsmarting the other coaches. And if he can do that, then great. If not, then yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. So what are we going to do?
I just, after doing this for a couple of years now, and I'm just learning about the fan base closely, they give up way too quickly. And I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying they don't let.
Yeah, I know most
unfold.
people do. They always want to
They
hit
don't
that
let
big red
things
panic
unfold.
button.
And I'm like, can we wait and see what happens?
Because we
was
got, what,
fully on
6
the Jalen
months?
Hurts train. Jeff, was I on the train of Jalen Hurts?
Well, I know about people
Yeah, you
giving up
were.
on my team. They've given up
No,
on
I didn't.
Daniel Jones since he was drafted 4 years ago. I know about people giving up on players. The Giants fans do it all the time. They probably all
Hey,
were
trust
like,
me, and
they set
I don't
Twitter
hold my
on
hand.
fire when they set Twitter on
I
fire when
actually-
Daniel Jones signed that deal.
Yeah, like sometimes not just the Eagles, not just not all fan bases are. There's some hypocrisy you could see within every single team, NFL team's fan base. We've seen it over the years, and I'll admit, I was one of those people. Yeah, like if Jalen Hurts does not perform the way that he did this past season, then cut your ties with them. I was one of those guys, and I pretty much ate my words after that. Almost had an MVP type of season and stuff like that.
1 cent. I don't know what it is over there.
Can I switch the subject real quick? I have a interesting question to ask each of you, especially with this Boston Scott thing that happened. We're giving him somewhat $2 million, probably a little bit over, 1-year deal contract. Do we start using him as a kickoff returner instead of what we've been previously using?
Well, it depends on who we're going to get. If we get someone specializes in that, then no. If we don't, then I can see it. It just depends on how the rest of free agency goes for me.
I'm having
You guys need a linebacker too. You need a linebacker now that you lost both White and
more
Edwards.
than one linebacker.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. We need 2.
I mean, we got Nakobe Dean. He's still there.
Yeah.
We still got Nakobe
he's
Dean.
giving me Jacoby Stevens vibes. What do you think, Tom, about remember Jacoby Stevens?
Safety?
Dude, he's gone. We drafted him in an early round and we didn't even utilize Jacoby Stevens.
But he's a different position than
Like
he was a
Phillies.
linebacker from LSU won a natty with Burrow.
Like Go Philly says in the comments, if you can get Devin White from the Bucks for a 4th and a 7th, I would make that deal right now.
Yeah, I think the Bucks are going to be selling off people. I think they're going to be selling off players in the coming days.
The problem is with these guys, though.
No. Tom, go.
I was going to say they all want money. And, 1 minute we're talking about how we have to find these bargain deals, and the next minute we're talking about getting Devin White. I mean, it's not consistent. So I think they're looking for bargain deals, and they're going to let some of their young guys play. Jacoby Stevens was a 6th-round pick that didn't make the team. Nakobe Dean was a 3rd-round pick that played last year in some sparing, capacity with blowouts and things like that. So I just think you have to have a little more faith in some of the young guys. And like you guys said earlier, 6 months until the season starts, they're going to be looking for guys. I mean, we're on day 2 illegal tampering, and the fact that the whole team isn't set is not, something to, start thinking about plan Z yet. You know what I mean? They still have plan A, B, C in their pocket.
Absolutely. Howie makes trades in September, right before the season. You're right.
And honestly, what was our biggest splash last year? The draft. AJ Brown. That was in April. I mean,
and then what was in May? James Bradbury, and then what was in August? CJ Gardner-Johnson. So I mean, he's always looking for upgrades. Reddick was first day of free agency. So
I was going to say Reddick was a free agent pickup. Yeah,
right.
First
day, that was our first move that we made right on Monday at the legal tampering, and then we make a move later down the line. We get Kaiser White, and then in the draft we get AJ Brown, and then after the draft we get Bradbury and CJ. I think there's a new way of GMing, and he's putting a stamp on it. Is this kind of door never closes, always looking for opportunities kind of activity. And when they have a team that can win, go to the Super Bowl, he's going to have that policy. They didn't sign, like I said to start the show, they didn't sign Jason Kelsey and Brandon Graham back for 1-year deals to like drag their feet and kind of move slow like they did in 2021 when they didn't really know what they had. They know what they have in Jalen Hurts and the coaching staff now. And those are the pieces that are really going to ultimately get you to where you need to go. The rest of them are just fill in names that we'll convince ourselves of by August anyway. So I think they're gonna plug guys in, and they're gonna be just fine.
I really can't wait to see what Dean brings. A full season of him on the field. They're gonna have growing pains, obviously, but I'm really excited to see what he has.
I'm still paying to Kobe Dean and Jordan Davis for what they did to my Michigan a couple years ago.
Yeah, they were that good. I mean, that's
Georgia defense was good just that year.
Yeah, the pedigree, bringing guys from that defense.
That's why.
Yeah, Jeff?
That's why I don't get like I hear fans panicking all the time when like they don't see their teams make moves in the first day or two. You got to realize that a lot of teams right now they're scouting the NFL market. They're trying to wait until the some of these players' value starts coming down a little bit. Like for my team, there's still guys that we have that are key free agents. For Julian Love is still on the market. Darius Slayton's still on the market. Jahide Ward. These guys we thought would be plucked off the market immediately. Their prices could be coming down where the Giants could get these guys on bargain deals. And it could be the same thing with you guys, too. You could have some key players that you can get back for nothing as it goes. Because there's not going to be a lot of teams that are going to be willing to throw out top-tier dollars because they see how the depth is going into the draft. There's a lot of good depth at this draft at certain positions, and that's why I could see, teams not willing to pay dollar market for certain positions because they see what the draft is going to be putting together, like wide receiver, like offensive line, like even cornerback. These certain positions, they're going to be deep going into this draft. So that might be the reason why you see some of these other players that their values coming down a little bit.
Yeah, and by the way, Jeff, you're trade for Waller, you gave up the 100th pick in the draft. I mean, like, you stole him from
what we got
Raiders.
for Kadarius Toney.
Yes, you basically traded
Yes, the one
Tony
we
for
got
Waller.
for Kadarius Toney when we made that trade.
Oh, right. I think I
Pretty
saw
much,
that
yeah.
Yeah, he Rappaport tweeted that, I think. Kind of interesting.
Yeah. No, I'm ecstatic because we haven't had a tight end this dynamic in our offense probably since Shockey. That was probably the last tight end we've had that has been this gifted offensively since Shockey. And we have only had one 1,000-yard tight end in our history, and that was Mark Bavaro all the way back in the 80s. So if Waller could just stay on the football field, he is clear as day our number one option because we're still very weak at wide receiver. I mean, we got Sterling Shepard back, but he's coming off an ACL. We have Wan'Dale Robinson, but he's coming off an ACL. I love Isaiah Hodgins, but to me, he's like a 2 or 3 at best. You got Colin Johnson. You got some other guys out there, but I think the Giants are going to be looking at the draft when it comes to filling out that wide receiver position, maybe get another veteran in there. Obviously, fix the interior offensive line, but I can't complain. I love the Waller deal. The one guy I love the most is a Okereke kid we got from the Colts. I think he's an emerging young linebacker who I think is just going to get better because he's going to be a beast in the middle of that Wink Martindale defense. It's only going to help out Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams in the middle of our defense. So I'm really loving what the Giants are doing so far this offseason.
Daniel Jones knows him really well from last year, no? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he does. Oh, he does.
They're going to probably have a nice little conversation.
Yeah, he does.
I want to talk to the Eagles guys real quick because Cool Cat just tweeted, do you guys agree with this? Number 1, Gardner Johnson. 2, Slay. 3, Hurts. And 4, draft. I think that's accurate.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely
He's no sign wrong.
Definitely the problem. I would say so. I'd say CJ Gardner Johnson is definitely the piece that we're all waiting on. Like that's the guy that's going to tie our whole secondary together, and then you can focus on other things. And that's I don't think Hurts is in any rush because I think that the team and him are really confident in each other to keep him around. So everyone else is getting done, and then they're going to work on his.
Yeah, but how much would you pay Hurts?
107.
Whatever the market is, like 45 mil, 48 mil, whatever it is, whatever he is slotted in to get. I don't think they have much of a choice. It's kind of pretty cut and dry with what they're going to have to pay him. So it is what it is.
A friend of mine said he'll give him 6 years. Was it 230? I'm trying to think what he said. It was like 2 years, 6 years, 240, something like that.
What do you think, Tom? Would it be 3-year, 4-year, or more than 4-year contract?
Probably a 4-year extension. I don't know what the rules are. I think there's different things they can do and follow to structure it certain ways. I don't really know. At the end of the day, when you get to those back years, you're starting to restructure and extend and move the money down. And so to me, it's going to be a 2-year. the back end of it's not guaranteed. So it's going to be, one of those deals that you can get out of after 2 years or 3 years. And
yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was trying to tell Mitch and everyone, but I didn't know how to say it right.
You
I
were
was
saying
like,
like 2 years, and then we were
2
just like,
years,
right?
$60 million, upwards of 70 mil.
So you want a 4-year and then opt out after 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I can see that, but it's just like 2 years? No, he's definitely getting more years than that.
Oh, yeah. His agent will probably definitely convince him to get more.
You know why? Because
he outperformed Mahomes in the Super Bowl. And yeah, I guess you can say that Mahomes was injured. But boy, he was high as a kite when he came back second half.
Yeah. Are we really going to talk about Michael Thomas, Juice? Like, really?
We don't got Michael Thomas.
Yeah, the Saints are going to keep him.
He says he's going to have 176 catches for 1,865 yards and 13 touchdowns.
Juice. Michael Thomas makes Sterling Shepard look like an Iron Man. Cut it out, man. Seriously.
Michael Thomas.
I just gotta say that.
The Saints need Zion. I'm telling you right now, they need Zion Williamson over there.
I mean, if Thomas could come back healthy, if he could just be a serviceable wide receiver, he's not even the number 1 on that team anymore. You got Olave, and I really like that kid Rashid Shaheed, that deep threat that they have too. So you put Thomas back in there, he can maneuver around in the slot, be that possession receiver, doesn't have to carry the whole load on offense. That's not a bad player that you could just throw out there at the type of money he's making. So I don't think it's a bad move, and keep him there for another year and see if he could boost up his value again.
Yeah. Then, oh my God, next secondary yeah, you're basically right. Dude, if we just get Gardner Johnson, then the other pieces will come into play. Like, people just gotta wait it out. It's not a marathon. It's just it's not a sprint. It's a marathon, not a sprint. There we go.
Right. No, it's like, Howie Roseman's great with playing chess and not laying down his cards fully. We saw that this season. We saw a team that literally was so unbelievably potentially crazy. And it just shocked me that we didn't unleash that defense during the Super Bowl. We saw it all year long, especially in the second half when we were really concerned and we needed things to change and reassess. We didn't reassess in the Super Bowl. I don't know what happened. We have to move on and just that be bygones. We didn't win the Super Bowl. But it just shocks me that we saw the whole year 17 different ways to win, including those playoff games and every different facet of the game to get to that Super Bowl. We found 17 different ways to win. When we got to the Super Bowl in that second half, it was like we forgot who we were and what the play design was. And it was almost like I felt like the players, I understand that even some of them even came out forward later on and said that, you didn't put us in the right position, Gannon, and this and that, and we can make excuses all day. But I almost feel like I wish the players just didn't listen to Gannon and just had fun out there during the Super Bowl, right? Like, this is it. This is the Super Bowl. Go out and show. Don't listen to the coach. Just do what you're supposed to do.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Cole, this clip is for you.
See, I just want us to think about it. And see, now I want y'all to understand. You might not like what I'm saying, but I've been saying ever since we got rid of Kellen Moore that I really believe that we should be favored to not only go to the Super Bowl, but also win it. Yeah. Now, I know that make a lot of y'all mad. Boss, you too early. Boss, I'm not going to say that. It's too soon, boss. Come on, boss. No, I'm saying it now. Yeah, and I believe it logically. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid on that. I really am. And I don't think it's a bad thing. It's not even drinking Kool-Aid to where you dumb.
Another Cowboys fan thinks they're winning the Super Bowl.
Not again.
I mean,
Cowboys,
I'll send it to you. I will admit that move they made for Gilmore was a solid move. They needed another cornerback on the outside, so that is a good move by them with Anthony Brown probably very suspicious of coming back. So I will give him credit. They made a good move on the outside because
Yeah,
Gilmore is still a top level cornerback in the NFL. So
I
I
agree.
don't know about the Super Bowl though. That's a little bit of a stretch.
Hey, listen, when you're in a division with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, you better get your corners up. So that's you too, Giants. Let's go. What you got?
I know. We got Adoree. That's one guy. We just need another guy opposite of Adoree Jackson. So
Can you guard us yet? That's the question.
we need to get ourselves a pass rush first and get to your quarterback in order for him not to stand
Take
back
another
there so we
lap,
can pick
Randy.
apart our defense.
Yeah.
That's
Here-
our problem. We didn't have a pass rush last year.
I like the point that Jeff brought up earlier, though, about how everybody kind of overvalues their own, like every fan base overvalues their own players. Like he was talking
Yes.
about Julian Love and was it Darius
Slayton, yeah.
Fans were probably like, oh, they're gone if we don't get them right back, and they're still out there. Like, you think other teams want those guys? Nobody's familiar with those guys other than your team, so you're always going to have the first shot. And if your team doesn't want them, there's probably a reason for that. So I think a lot of fans, like you said, need to relax and just realize, like, you don't have to, like, be the big spender right away and think every guy is going to get sucked right up by every other team. And you know, there's a lot of feeling it out that does go on. So I like that point that you made earlier. I did get a chance to say that, but that was a really good point by you.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Tom. And the reason why is because the Giants have a young safety that they drafted last year out of Iowa named Dane Belton, who they could easily just slide into the starting spot if they let Julian Love go. And Slayton, everybody dogs Slayton for how many drops he had. I think he was like one of the league leaders in drops this year, but he has had over 700 yards receiving for the past few years, which probably I think 3 out of his 4 years has led our team. So he's a good receiver. He's a decent receiver, but it's like that. I mean, you guys overvalue Eagles fans overvalue some of their players. Cowboys fans overvalue their players. It's how you are because when you draft your own guys, you have a certain attachment to them. Like, you know, you love your drafted players. So it's sometimes difficult to let some of these guys go because you always want to build through the draft. You always want to keep your homegrown guys like you guys are doing right now. Kelsey has been with your team forever. Graham has been with your team forever. I still wouldn't be shocked if you bring back Fletcher Cox on a 1-year deal. Maybe you won't, but you might need him now that Hargrave is gone. So you might, bring him back on a deal because he's been there forever. And then you have Lane Johnson too. You always want to have your own homegrown guys and then obviously keep filtering in other players. That's why I love what your team is doing year in and year out, especially on the offensive and the defensive lines. You have your veteran guys that are on that line, and what do you guys keep doing? You keep supplementing players through the draft every single year to build up them afterwards, so when eventually you lose somebody in free agency or they're getting up there in age, you have a young guy that's ready to take over right there. That's what my team got lost with after we won the Super Bowl, and then we're finally getting back on track on that. But that's why you and Dallas have been the class of the division for years, is because you know what the smart thing to do is, and that's build in the trenches.
Yep, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Well, very well put. And you guys did that last year. You guys did that last year when you picked Kayvon Thibodeau and the offensive tackle. I don't remember
Evan
his
Neal
name from Alabama. Neal,
Evan
that's
Neal.
it. Yeah, Evan Neal, exactly. And that's what I was saying. I was like, the Giants had a good draft. They picked smart teams, pick trenches early in the draft, and that's what you got to do. And we were just saying it earlier. That's not the sexy pick, but picking guys like Landon Dickerson and Jordan Davis and Cam Jurgens, like those guys come in handy when you lose players, and you don't have to continue to bring back old rental type players. But keeping your homegrown guys is always an option. Like you said, Fletcher Cox and all that. So be Brandon Graham and Kelsey and Lane on the lines. But if you don't continue to put new guys behind them, the younger offensive and defensive linemen, you're just going to start not being built from the inside out. And once you start building from the outside in, it just doesn't really work. It doesn't give you the same effect that having those good offensive and defensive lines do. So I think that's something that fans don't really realize either. And they just want the flashy names and the DeAndre Hopkins trades and the big splashy moves all the time. And that's not really how you build a good team in the NFL. So
it's fantasy football thing. That's why everybody caters to the fantasy football aspect of the NFL now. Passing league, throwing the ball all over the place. You got to understand, fans of this new age have to understand you still win by building up the trenches. That's how you win football games, because you can have all these playmakers out there. You can have all these great receivers, all these great tight ends and running backs. But if your quarterback has no protection in front of him and he has to run all over the place just to, not get sacked every second, or he's being rushed out of the pocket because there's constant pressure on him, it's going to be irrelevant how many playmakers you're having. Same thing on the defensive side. You don't have depth on your defensive line. You can't get a constant pass rush against a good offensive line. What good is it going to be no matter how many guys you have in the back end of your defense or even in the middle? It has to start with the trenches. That's where NFL has always been in this league since the beginning.
Yep, you're absolutely right. The name of the game is protecting your quarterback and getting to their quarterback, because if you're, that's where it all starts. You're absolutely right. So
remember when they were saying that Jalen Hurts was a system quarterback? Remember that whole thing? And like every team has a system quarterback.
Yeah, I think
just don't understand that.
I think using that term is a little bit disingenuous when it comes to a guy like Jalen Hurts. I know what people mean by that, and I don't think Jalen Hurts necessarily fits that description, but that's just my opinion on that.
Any Eagle fans out there, y'all are listening. Our guest, NYG Jeffy T, links in the chat. Make sure y'all give a subscribe to him, maybe a like on some of his videos. Great, knowledgeable NFL person, not just only with the Giants. This is a guy that you definitely want to follow. Has great knowledge on the NFL all around. Hit up NY Jeffy. Thank you for coming on, Jeffy. Let's give more insight.
His favorite bet. I was going to say your favorite player.
No, I don't love Ben Simmons. I don't love Ben Simmons.
He's a Nets fan, Tom.
Yes. Unfortunately, no, actually, I'm not going to.
What's up, Adam?
Adam, what's up, bro?
Jeff.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep.
And if you could you please go to each and every one of our YouTube channels? The links are in the chat. You might have to scroll up. If not, they are in the description. And just give us a like. That's all we ask. If you could just each give us a like, because when you give us a like, it helps share out and grow this community for more people to join in our chat.
Oh, by the way, sub up to Adam if you haven't already. He's only 3 subs away from 100. So get this guy to 100 subs. Get him to 100 subs. He's the heart and soul of the New York Giants football base. Get him to 100. He deserves it.
By the way, Darius Slay just tweeted something.
Yeah, they're talking about that Todd Archer report that came out. He said that the Eagles called Dallas, but he later clarified that it was he just now clarified that it's that was a misunderstanding, and the Eagles did not call the Cowboys about Darius Slay, and Slay said he doesn't think they'd trade him in the division anyway, and I highly doubt they would.
Same, yeah. So. If there's one team we're not going to trade it with, it's the Cowgirls.
Yeah, look, so.
Yep, exactly.
I love how he quote tweeted Thomas R. Peterson. That's actually cool.
Yeah.
Like, wow. That's
a lot of those local guys getting a lot of love this offseason. But yeah, that's hilarious that he said that, and it was completely wrong, and it just stirred up a bunch of controversy.
Right. So maybe he's not getting traded then. Who knows?
I mean, I don't think it's going to come down to the Eagles wanting to trade him. I think if a team's willing to pay whatever he wants, then that's the only way.
Well,
so
this guy told me months ago that he told me that we were going to trade Slay. So if he's wrong, there you go.
So
here we go again.
So far, no, I don't think so. I think they're trying to win now, and I don't think trading Slay helps them get that done. So it's going to come down to money. If somebody wants to pay him more, then maybe. But so far, nothing.
Yeah, I just got to ask this, though. This whole thing with Aaron Rodgers, right? He's getting his own wish list. The Jets are they got Lazard. Like, can he just make a move and have him go to the Jets already? My God.
I think there's a clause, there's a money clause that they have to work through until Friday, I believe. So that's maybe one of the reasons why the deal is taking so long right now. Some type of money manufacturing. I was listening to it on the radio this morning that maybe is one of the reasons why this is being held up at the moment. But Lazard would not sign with the Jets if he didn't know that Rodgers was on his way. I mean, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that Rodgers is going to be on his way to the Jets. And Randall Cobb will be there. I mean, all
They
of
want
his guys are
OBJ
going.
there. How would you feel about that?
No, they're not going to get OBJ. There's no reason why you'd bring in OBJ now. You have Garrett Wilson.
Garrett
You
Wilson.
have Lazard now. You still got Elijah Moore. You're going to possibly bring in Randall Cobb. There's no room for OBJ.
No.
Yeah, I think Elijah Moore is even gone, if we're being honest. I think Elijah Moore is going to be gone, and I think that it'll be Cobb and Lazard and Garrett Wilson. But yeah, I mean, I think Rodgers will be there. It's just he's a weirdo. He always wants things to be about him. He's actually going on the Pat McAfee show tomorrow at like noon
Yep.
or 1 or something.
1 p.m. 1 p.m.
Yep, there you go. So
Oh, cool. I'll watch it tomorrow.
Right,
Oh, yeah, we'll watch it while we're streaming. That's kind of cool. I'll have it on.
probably announce it.
Yeah. Ooh, can it just happen already? My friend is a Jets fan, and he's like, Mitch, I don't think it's going to happen now, because if it did, it would have been done already.
It's going to happen. Lazard would not sign with the Jets if he didn't know Rodgers was going to. He would not do that. He knows Rodgers is going to the Jets.
It's just, wow. Crazy. He's acting like the general manager.
Oh yeah, I mean the Jets. The Jets haven't had a quarterback in. Probably the last good quarterback they had was I would say Chad Pennington. I think Pennington was a good quarterback before he injured his shoulder. But the Jets are desperate. They know that the AFC East is wide open right now. You have the Bills, who are potentially losing some players right now in free agency. Jordan Poyer might be on his way out. Josh Allen has taken a step back. Their offensive line is not as strong as it was before. The Dolphins are making moves, but you still are very questionable with their quarterback position. Tua might be another hit away from being retired. And then Mike White, let's just be real, he's a journeyman. And then you look at the Patriots. The Patriots are clearly the fourth best team in that division. The Jets know that this is their opportunity right now to strike and really cement themselves as not only the team to beat in the AFC East, but one of the teams to beat in the AFC in general. They're an ascending team. So this is why they're doing all this stuff right now to bring in Rodgers, because they see the path opening it up, and they may have like a 2-year window to win a Super Bowl right now. So I think I don't mind them doing this deal.
Yeah. Do you think there will be, if they get Rodgers, will they be going to the Super Bowl? I mean, it will be close.
They'll be definitely contenders for sure.
Yeah, by far.
I still think that the Chiefs are the team to beat. I can't, after what Mahomes did this past season, I can't deny Mahomes. The guy was playing on one leg, and he still was able to go out there and do what he did. So I can't. The Chiefs are still the best team in the league. I'd probably say the Bengals, as long as they keep the core of their team, are up there too. I know they lost Jesse Bates, but they could easily find somebody to replace him in the draft. I can't count out the Bills completely. I mean, I'd say the Jets are probably, if they get Rodgers, third or fourth in the AFC, maybe around that range. You could probably say 3 to 5 at the moment. They're definitely top 5. I agree. Dolphins you could throw in there too.
All right. So do you guys have anything to say before we close on out of here? Because I think we covered pretty much everything.
We covered everything. We're leaving already. Oh man, we're just having fun.
Yeah, well,
darn it!
So
I love talking Eagles. I love talking football.
So do I, man. But you got anything to say, bro?
Just make sure you all just drop a like on each one of our channels. I'm disappointed now. I want to talk for another hour.
Oh, man.
By the way, Dicker the kicker just signed a new deal. Got tendered a new deal by the Chargers. Your favorite, Mitch, Dicker the kicker. Nice. So he's back with the Chargers.
Better than General Booty. Oklahoma quarterback.
Bruh. All right.
Oh,
is that a real quarterback's name?
Yes.
His name is literally General Booty. I don't know. Mitch found it somehow.
I did. I did.
Jeff, are you looking him up?
No, I'm not.
Oh, I thought
anyway,
I
just wanted to leave off with kind of what Tom was going with about Howie Roseman, the offseason, how we slowly kind of develop into August, but we like you said, we saw James Bradbury come into the picture. We saw certain pictures come into aspect last season that didn't happen right away. Like we're going to expect it to happen tomorrow. And I totally agree with you. And I kind of still agree with this statement. I'm going to put up the clip from Star Wars I put at the beginning of the season. I still stand by it.
It's muted.
Okay. I don't know what happened. Anyway, big, huge failure.
Well, there's still the NFL draft. Just remember, the NFL draft, you still see a lot of big moves happening. And what did you guys do at the draft? That's when you got your number one receiver. So there's still plenty of time that you could see more moves happening around this time, especially with the fact this draft is loaded with certain positions out there. And I would not be shocked if some wide receivers start getting traded around the draft, like a Jerry Jeudy or Cortland Sutton, like a Godwin or an Evans, like a Hopkins, like a Pittman Jr. Any one of these guys could be a trade bait because some of these teams might look into this deep wide receiver class. Might not be studs out there. There's a lot of quality players that teams might want to look at and try to bring in and let go of some of these other guys and try to get some more draft capital. So don't be shocked if the wide receiver trade market picks up within the next month or so as we get closer to the draft.
And Tom, I got a question for you, and then we'll end it. And I know, Mitch, you got to go. We have 2 first-round draft picks on. One of them is a 10th round pick. The other one, I see maybe the 10th pick going. I think we trade backwards like we did last year to get another first-round pick for 2024 and then get some replacement picks for our 4th, 5th, and 6th round because we have none. Because we have 2 7s, a 3rd, and a 2nd, but we don't have any, like those 3 rounds we're totally missing. Do you see how we possibly moving back to get another first-round draft pick in 2024 and replacing those picks that were possibly missed?
Yeah, it's possible for sure. See that? How we love moving around in the draft stuff, whether it's up, down, it'll happen. It's going to happen. They'll definitely be trying to continue to accumulate picks. It's their new thing, and they've been doing it like the last 2 years. So I would say the trend continues. They want more quality players and in quantity. So getting more picks is always the way to go if you can knock your draft picks down. So big thing is getting players and getting good players. That's gonna what it comes down to. So if they can do that and move back and get good players, absolutely.
Yep. So
this is an exciting episode, Mitch.
Thank you for letting me.
This is exciting,
thank you for letting me
right?
on the show, guys. And Tom,
of course.
pleasure meeting you, bro. Randy, Further, and Mitch.
See you tomorrow, bro.
Take it easy, guys. I'll see you tomorrow in the afternoon. Have a good one.
I got to talk to Rob about having Randy's and AM channel on there. So,
And Randy, how close are you to 100 subs right now, bro?
6.
You're only 6 away. Holy crap. Okay, look, I'm putting your link in the chat right now. Dude, guys, seriously.
all right.
Next shift's in the
You got a
chat.
question though.
Just go give him literally a sub. He's
You got a
6 away
question,
from
bro.
100
Thanks, bro.
You had a question.
for Randy.
No, you got a question.
For
It's in
Randy.
No. AM, look at the chat. Look at the comment. You got a question.
I have to scroll back up.
Look at the screen.
Further AM, where did you think Prince Harry is going to sign? Or is he going to the XFL? You know what? I wouldn't surprise if he signed off a big, long cocaine habit in Las Vegas at MGM with his wife or whatever, and they just had some type of penthouse cruise. That's what Harry does.
You know he's talking about Carson Wentz, right?
Oh, no, I
Because
didn't.
they look.
I thought he was literally talking about Prince Harry. Like,
All right. On that note, man.
no,
On that
Prince
note.
Harry. I see him being a backup quarterback, and the only way that he could be saved is probably going to Seattle, which would never happen now. But I think, Tom, I was actually going to ask you, do you think, honestly, Carson Wentz, the only place that he could possibly save would be with Pete Carroll? Like Geno Smith was saved with Pete Carroll. I figured in only way in the NFL that Carson Wentz could be saved was probably with Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks. But I don't think they want him, and I don't think he's going to go there. But I just think that's the only way he'll save his first string job. I think he's just going to be a backup quarterback from now on.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to get another opportunity to get a starting job. I mean, right off the bat, definitely not. So the reason Geno Smith had a come up was because he actually had an opportunity to play. So if Wentz got that opportunity, it's possible, but he's kind of been downhill. So I can't say anything till I see some improvements out of that man because he is not looking too good right about now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he fell from grace.
Next shift, where do you think Carson Wentz could land?
I have him funny. Oh, fuck, I can't talk. I have him landing in Houston with the Texans as like a mentor to whoever they draft.
Yeah.
I think
Okay, that's
going to the
that's nothing
USFL.
wrong with that.
He asked mentor, but
I think he's going to the USFL. Yeah. All right. Thank you for a good episode, guys. Next week, MK Headlines episode 70. We'll do more mock drafts later on. We'll do more mock drafts later, but we had to talk about the whole signings and everything. So yeah, Tom, thank you for coming on. I know you've been out for the last couple of weeks, but hey, thank you for coming on, man.
yeah, absolutely. I'll try to make it more often. Yeah, I'll try to make it more often. I just got caught up in some random things. It's tough with my work schedule, but I was able to have a little bit later of a day and hop on. So I appreciate you guys getting me
Also,
back.
same with Randy too, man. He's been missing for a couple weeks too, just like you, Tom. Randy, we got to keep having you back on because I love hearing your insight as well.
All right, guys.
He's 6 away.
Yep.
Next shift, hit him up. Give him
all
a
right,
sub.
guys. We'll catch you all later. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe. We'll catch you all later, bro. And peace.